Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fishing the 262. This should be a relatively quick video, you guys, but school is out and it's going to be time to get the kids back in the boat. So I want to share with you some of my personal experiences, give you 5 simple tips to ensure a better day on the water with your kids, and stick around to the end because I think tip number 5 is going to be the single most important tip that I can give you. So let's jump right into it with tip number 1. Tip number 1, you guys, is simple. Embrace live bait. This is not something I was good about with my older son. As a bass fisherman and a guy that likes to fish tournaments, artificial only, but you have to remember that the number one thing to getting a child interested in fishing is to get them on a bite of some sort, whether it's bluegills, bass, whatever the case may be. Embrace the live bait and let them keep that rod bent constantly. So what I did with my younger son quite often is we'd get maybe a dozen or 2 fathead minnows, rig those up on a slip bobber, and then a couple dozen night crawlers, and I taught him how to drop shot with a night crawler. But the key there is that live bait. It's just going to get them more bites. It's going to keep them more interested. And when I think back to my dad taking me fishing, one of my favorite parts is we would normally stop, we'd grab a dozen donuts, we'd head over to the bait shop, have a donut with all the guys in the bait shop, talk fishing, pick out our live bait, maybe spend 25-30 minutes in the bait shop before we ever got to the lake. But as a child, I felt like I was one of the guys. I felt like a grown-up standing in that bait shop talking fishing with the guys. So I think that's a really neat part of the experience. And I did fail in that regard with my older son, and I did not repeat that mistake with my younger son. And I think the proof is in the pudding. My older boy, he likes to fish casually. He's more of a golfer than he is a fisherman, but my younger son is all about the fishing. He's hardcore about it, and I think a big foundation there was just introducing him to the sport and using live bait in order to help him get a bunch of extra bites. So embrace the live bait. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, boat snacks. A good amount of boat snacks. Let your kids within reason pick out a good amount of boat snacks. Typically, we'll bring a little bit of junk food. We'll bring a piece of fruit and maybe some beef jerky. I usually let them bring a soda or a Gatorade, and we keep plenty of bottles of water on the boat. But the bottom line is the boat snack can revitalize their energy level. It can give them a nice little distraction. And I think oftentimes if you stop, have a decent snack, maybe even bring a full lunch on the boat with them, you can buy yourself a few more hours of fishing time after you stop for that initial snack break. So don't shy away from having boat snacks, and let them pick out the boat snacks that they're going to like. And just be prepared for being on the water, because sometimes you might be out there for 8 hours. You're going to have to feed those kids to keep them interested. There's just no way around it. Moving on, tip number 3, let them drive the boat. I know that that's intimidating to some parents to put a young kid behind the wheel of a boat, but my youngest son, like I said, he just turned 11. He's been driving the boat for probably 3 years now, and he does really well at it. But it's super important to teach him about water safety, kill switches, life jackets. It's important to teach them how to respect other people's water when they're driving the boat. You don't want them cutting anybody off or cutting in somebody's casting line, anything like that. So super important to A, teach them how to do it safely, but B, just let them do it for fun. I think, again, similar to the snacks, sometimes when the kids get bored, if they say, "Dad, can I drive the boat?" Yeah, we reel in the lines, we take a spin around the lake or around the bay, depending on what body of water we're fishing. And sometimes just that 15 or 20-minute boat ride can reinvigorate them, and it'll buy you, again, more time on the water to make more memories. So let them drive the boat. Rule number 4 for a better fishing trip is going to be the equipment. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination, go out and buy your kid the best possible equipment that money can buy. Buy them something that's going to give them pride of ownership. It's going to teach them a little bit of responsibility when they have to take care of it. But more importantly, buy them a rod that fits. If I gave my 11-year-old my 7'6" extra heavy punching rod and said, go to work with it, it's going to wear him out. He's going to be miserable. It's just not going to be a fun experience. So for the size that he's at right now, I think when he was younger, we started him on like a 5'6". Then we graduated him to a 6-foot rod. Now he's running a bunch of 6'6" rods, not a bunch, but he's got 2 spinning rods and a casting rod. He's got a drop shot rod. He's got another spinning rod that he's going to throw a bunch of Senkos, wacky rigs, shaky heads, stuff like that he's going to bottom fish a little more aggressively or a little heavier, if you will. And then he's got one casting rod that's 6'9". It's actually technically a spinnerbait rod, but he's going to wind a trap on it. He's going to throw a jackhammer on it. He's going to throw his spinnerbait on it, something that he can go winding with. But it's 6'9". It's not something that's going to overpower him. It's not too heavy for him. So I think the equipment really matters, and I think that's one of the things that I really struggled with my own experience as a child. I just got the hand-me-down stuff. I didn't have anything that I thought, hey, this is really cool. I feel really good about this. I just always kind of felt like I was getting the leftover junk. So try to give them a little better experience. Stay within your budget. Stay within your means, but give them something that fits and that's something that they're going to have a little bit of pride in, that's their own, and teach them how to take care of it. And I think it's going to make for a better experience for them on the water. Here we go. Tip number 5. This is the single most important thing, you guys. And then we're going to get out of here, wind this video up, try to get out of here. Make the entire day about your kids. It's not about you when you have your kids in the boat with you. It's about putting them on fish. It's about making memories with them. I would rather watch my kid catch a 3-pounder than catch a 5-pounder myself. I take way more joy in watching them catching fish. I've caught tons of fish in my lifetime. Now it's about teaching them, giving them the best possible experience. What do I mean by making the day about them? Let them pick the lake. Let them pick the spots. And when they're done, go home. I can't emphasize that enough. Don't be that dad that sits in the boat and when your kid says, I'm bored, I'm ready to go home. Don't be the dad that says, we'll leave when we get a limit, something along those lines. You know, you hear a lot of stories like that. I may have experienced that a few times myself as a kid. Not a ton, but there was times where I was ready to go home and it just wasn't time to go home. And I think to myself, like, well, this isn't a lot of fun. I don't want to be out here anymore. So be prepared to leave when the kids get done. A lot of times, especially when they were really young, we would pick a lake that was close to home so that I could pick up the phone. I could call my wife and say, hey, the boys are ready to come home. Why don't you come get them? I'll meet you at the dock, and then I'll go out and fish for a couple more hours by myself. So now that they're older, especially with my younger son, because he is a little more hardcore, I always let him pick the lake. He's got a couple of favorites. I get a little bit tired of him sometimes, but it's not about me. It's about him. So if he wants to fish shallow, we have a lake that's, man, it's less than 10 minutes from our back door to the lake. And he can get around there and do a bunch of shallow fishing, throw around the docks. And it's got some quality fish in it, so he enjoys that one. And we have a lake that's a little further away, that's a little more diverse. We can fish anywhere from 40 feet of water to 4 feet of water in that lake. So I always allow him to pick the body of water, and then once we get to the body of water, I allow him to pick his spots. Now, sure, you can guide him into a better location. You might be able to just steer him a little bit and say, you know, what you're trying to do might have worked a couple weeks ago when they were in the pre-spawn, but now everything's post-spawn, so we're looking for maybe some post-spawn females that have moved out, or we're going to go for fry garters, or what, you know, you got to kind of guide them a little bit, but ultimately let them have some say in the spot, because they feel accomplished when they choose a location and they get some good bites on it. It's a good way to build their confidence and give them a better experience. And then lastly, like I said, if my kids say they're done, that's it. Whether we've been there for 2 hours or 10 hours, when they say they're done, we go back to the dock, we put the boat on the trailer, and we go home. It's about them. It's not about me. It's about giving them the best possible experience, making them want to continue down this journey and continue with the sport. If we don't grow the sport with our kids, it's going to disappear, right? So super important that we get them out on the water, give them the best possible experience, and I think these 5 tips are going to help you guys do that. I hope you appreciate the information. I hope you found it helpful. If you do, just give me a quick like, a thumbs up, drop a comment below. Let me know about some things that you do when you're on the water with your kids that you found successful. I think super important. Again, like I said, we got to keep the kids involved. We got to make it about them. Give them a good time, and they're going to want to do this sport for the rest of their lives. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Tight lines. We'll catch you on the next one.